Good morning or good afternoon. Today I will be presenting Group 3 strategy presentation. Here are the following topics I'll be addressing throughout the presentation. Starting with the brief. For our Discourse Event 3, we were approached by PALPRAC, a South African palliative caregiving service. PALPRAC actively recruits doctors from various fields of studies, offering training and support to provide person-centric care within the context of serious illnesses. Their main mission is to establish a campaign to ensure doctors, patients, and the public understand the provided service. We were given an open brief to develop a strategy in order to communicate to our designated target audience, this being the public. This would involve brand awareness, the provided service, as well as the benefits of palliative care. Through conducting primary and secondary research, our group gained a better understanding of the topic and how we need to communicate the task at hand. Throughout the research process, we conducted primary and secondary research. To give a better insight on what palliative care is, it is a specialized medical care for people living with illnesses. Its main focus is to relieve the patient's symptoms and stress of the illnesses. The objective is to improve the quality of life for both the patient as well as the family. For our primary research, we created a set of 3 Instagram stories explaining to the viewers what palliative care is and what it entails. We then informed them that we were a group of students conducting research for a creative campaign regarding this topic. The participants were asked to share any experiences that they might have encountered, whether it was personal, a family member, or a friend. Ensuring that all information would be kept confidential, we had a response from a medical student from the University of Cape Town regarding her current studies on pediatric palliative care. She provided us with an in-depth presentation communicating how important the care of an ill child is. These are the 3 Instagram stories we used at the beginning of our primary research. Subsequently, we created an anonymous survey to gain the public's perspective on palliative care, as well as their knowledge on the topic. From analyzing the first survey and using the knowledge given by the above-mentioned medical student, we created a second anonymous survey that focused on pediatric palliative care. The goal was to gain the public's view on the topic. Additional interviews were conducted with people who had ill members within their families. These are some of the additional Instagram stories we put up to get participants to find our survey links. As for our secondary research, we used the knowledge we gained from our primary research and conducted secondary research which involved the foundation of what palliative care is, as well as the benefits of the service. Following this, we addressed the topic of ethics within the service, as well as some of the principles to consider when applying for and experiencing this type of care. To develop the findings from the primary research, additional research was done on patient recovery in different environments and locations. This allowed us to find an in-depth study of various phobias, such as nosocomophobia, the fear of doctors and hospitals, as well as first-hand stories of palliative care experiences. Here are some of the graphs of the results of our first survey. These are screenshots from the graphs from our second survey. Some of the insights that we gained throughout this research, starting with the primary research. From the medical student's presentation, we learned that a child's mental health is equally important as their physical health, and by using a holistic approach, it aids to a better recovery. Regarding the first survey, we obtained the following insights. Majority of respondents were not aware of the term palliative care. This showcased a need for a strong awareness campaign with information regarding the topic. 74.6% of participants preferred their recovery to take place at their own home as opposed to a hospital, a private medical center, or a family member's home. 89.4% valued the additional professional support while being cared for. Majority of respondents recognized that one's mental health is equally as important as one's physical health. This shows that the respondents understand that all aspects of life are equally important. Nearly 90% of respondents would consider applying for a pediatric palliative caregiver if their child had to fall ill. This emphasizes the need and trust in the service. Regarding the previous insight, respondents added additional comments based off their answers, which stated the appreciation for additional help, extra support, and the strain relief on their friends and family. Regarding the second survey, we obtained the following insights. 61.1% of respondents were aware of what pediatric palliative care is. All respondents agreed that they would apply for a palliative caregiver if their child had to fall ill. Majority of respondents agreed that a good holistic health would reflect a balanced lifestyle and health. This strengthens the idea that the overall balance of the patient is necessary for the best possible quality of life. 66.7% of respondents were unaware that pediatric palliative care also involves care for the family. This would mean that there's an unclear message of what palliative care entails, which we can use to our advantage when concluding insights to create a campaign. 94.4% of respondents believed that the child would receive an overall better care at their own home with the help of a palliative caregiver. This statistic strengthened the theory that patients recover better at home. When you are at home, you are surrounded by your family, your memories, and it is a familiar place, which concludes that home is seen as a space of comfort and relaxation. There is ultimately a lot of trust within the healthcare system. And finally, the pressure is alleviated when the family shares the burden, and relationships may benefit from this shared experience. As for our secondary research, we found some insights and understood the following. Family members of patients who stayed at home felt that they could empathize more with their family member as well as build a stronger relationship. The family felt like they had better involvement in their ill family member's overall care when being at home. Children need to have a solid base of belonging, and home for that child would be that solid base. All of this worrying generated from not having a clear sense of belonging is an easier task to handle for an adult, or a palliative caregiver in this case, because adults have ultimately a better understanding of life, and medical professionals have access to psychological understandings. In a more basic sense, a child that battles with serious illness needs a sense of clarity in the space that they are treated. Knowing their way around their home helps them compensate, and being comfortable in their living space reduces stress and helps well-being. Symptom control is a priority for healthcare professionals, and this is easier to do at home with the additional support structure. And finally, there are a lot of phobias revolving around the topic of being hospitalized. And this, however, can be avoided if care is provided at home and could put the patient at ease. Overall, the theme of being comfortable and at ease at one's own home is evident within the primary and secondary research. The idea for a child to be cared for at home is desirable, as many families still need to juggle the responsibilities of caring for a child as well as their daily lives and jobs. This would create an additional appreciation for the service being offered. Ultimately, parents of ill children need to be better informed about the possibilities and limitations of staying at home with the information readily available in doctors' offices, hospitals, and online. The strategy. From our insights, it was discovered that the idea of a child that is cared for at home is desirable to many families. However, few understand the possibilities and limitations of this. Parents of ill children need to be better informed about the possibilities and limitations of stay-at-home care with the information readily available in doctors' offices, hospitals, and online. One of the many comforting aspects about palliative care is that care and support can be given from the convenience of one's own home. We all need a sense of belonging, being part of a family, obtaining a career path, and feeling loved. PALPRAC palliative care from home can ensure that families will maintain those aspects of life, as well as ensuring for the best possible care. Care within your home. So what will the campaign communicate? Our campaign would aim to create awareness surrounding the topic of palliative care and the possible opportunity of having access to the service within the comfort of your own home. The campaign would also communicate how palliative caregivers support the notion of care within the minds of ill children as well as their families. What would the core message be? Having a palliative caregiver support ill children within their homes would ultimately create a more balanced sense of self, dismissing the factors of stress of a new environment and adaptation. We decided on the tagline, Care Within Your Home. Our target market. Our primary target market would focus on parents, families, or guardians of ill children who wish to provide the best possible comfort for their child in terms of care within their home. Our secondary target market would be ill children below the age of 18 who wish to receive convenient care within the comfort of their home. Some of the possible executions on how we could potentially roll out this campaign would include a series of posters within hospitals, medical centers, and public spaces, wall murals within hospitals, video clips, pamphlets, Instagram filters, and stickers. Thank you so much for listening.